Welcome to SBA Today for the
Oh,
week of December 16th. And as always, I'm your host, Paul, and I'm joined here with my lovely co-host, Tanya, who's going to tell us, what are we going to do today?
I just like doing this show with you, Paul, because you're always so darn complimentary. It's almost like my teapot in the morning that whistles at me every day. It's like awesome. Anyway, all right. So there's some interesting things going on Capitol Hill that we're going to talk about, obviously,
Yep.
and who's doing the most loans in SBA? What states are doing the most loans? So we're going to talk about that as well as hey. It's a season to be grateful. So we're going to talk a little bit about gratefulness at the very end as well. So go ahead and take it away, Paul.
Perfect. Well, thanks to Lumos, they put out a graph that I think we're going to show up here on the screen of the United States and its per capita SBA loan. So who's doing the most loan dollars that are out there in 2024? And again, it's really cool to see Washington. Woo-hoo, yay. It's also cool to see Colorado
And Florida.
and Florida.
As well as Utah.
And Utah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting on there.
I
So
know.
those are the top four that are doing the most on there. I just thought it was very interesting to see kind of a graph like this of where things are being done. I'm
Yeah.
really shocked on California personally. I would
Oh, that
think
it's-
California with population, everything that, it's only, a little bit less. But everything else, kind of makes
Mhm.
sense. I was actually kind of surprised. Maine 59. I thought that was actually pretty large for that state.
It seems like it, yeah.
Texas 97. Like that's
That
wow,
okay.
right?
I've got some things around that. Perhaps Texas is an interesting one, actually. So many people don't realize, right? So, like if you're doing a cash flow deal in Texas, Texas is a funny one that you can't actually, I believe there's laws in place that you can't actually garnish wages and stuff like that. Most people don't know that. Not to mention the homestead in Texas. So that's part of it too, especially when you get
Yeah.
into the acquisitions and there's no collateral. So, yes.
Yeah,
Not surprising, and
exactly.
yet it's so big. It is surprising. So,
Right.
wow, it's kind of crazy. But you know what, Paul? Come on, 3 out of the 4 is within our footprint.
It's pretty good. That's pretty
Not
good.
too shabby.
I mean,
And quite
I guess
honestly,
like
even you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go.
I was gonna say I got some job security, so thank God for that.
Yeah, right. Well, and then even Utah, we sometimes can do some exceptions cross state lines whenever, especially when they're touching one of our footprint states, depending upon what it is. So, hey, kind of 4 out of 4. Then let's just call it.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. All right. So there is an update on the fiscal 25 funding deadline. Obviously, that's 7 days away, people, on December 20th. It's looking like there's not as discussion any further as far as the shutdown. So that's actually a really good thing to do. However, the continuing resolution, what is going to happen with that? So what a continuing resolution does, it kind of serves as a band-aid, I guess, to get you through whenever they can't make a decision as far as funding. And currently negotiations remain ongoing. Imagine that. Passage of another continuing resolution is being discussed,
Sure.
but nothing has come down the line yet. So what do you think?
But it's the holiday season. It's the season of giving, the season of giving a budget to the American people. I feel like a politician.
Oh my God. Come on, preach it,
Bottom
Paul.
line.
Preach it.
Bottom line, get your freaking E-trans in before
Yes.
the 20th.
Yes. I mean, that's the big thing. And Chairman Williams was reappointed as the chairman of the House and Small Business Committee to second term, right? So it's a second term. Now, the funny thing with that, or not funny, I guess, the interesting thing with Chair Williams, he's made public statements. He has made public statements expressing his concerns with SBA's regulatory and SOP changes. Both on the 7A and the 504 programs, which we've all heard those, right? As well as his particular concerns with the consequences of those changes. Now,
weird.
What do you think about that, Mr. Paul?
You mean there's consequences for deregulation? Shut up.
Weird. Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of it. We've already seen a lot of how this has come down. That's why they're changing them again. I mean, they're changing them back. Some of them back to where they were. So, yeah. Anyway. And the fun one, Joni Ernst. Joni Ernst introduces legislation to reduce SBA staff and launches the Senate. Okay, how do you say this? The Senate
Dodge.
Doge.
I
want to call
don't
it.
know.
I want to call it Doggy. The Doggy Caucus. Can I call it Doggy? Okay.
Sure, I'll go with Dodge.
Dodge Caucus. All right. Political reports that the bill would require the SBA administrator to relocate at least 30% of the workers at its current headquarters to locations outside of Washington. Not only that, but also to reduce the staff by 30%. Or reduce the staff 30% at its office space there in Washington. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I think the most interesting piece of this, and the thing that should be probably scaring anybody who works for the SBA, Senator Ernst is at the helm for the Department of Government Efficiency, the Dodge Caucus. So she's going to have something to say. She's going to have to be the leader in this. And that's, I think, what's scaring me the most is, you got something to say. You have to be that person who's leading the way. And it just kind of worries me a little bit. I mean,
you think?
I'm glad I work for a private institution.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we still depend so much upon what the SBA does, and any of the regulations and changes in government directions, I guess, that they take the SBA obviously affects all of us in the SBA world. So,
well, maybe they're going to do something like they're doing with like Amazon. Hey, y'all got to come back to the office. Oh, you don't want to come back to the office? It's the nice way of saying we're just laying people off.
Well, exactly. And that's the national thing, is everybody's like used to the whole remote and all that fun stuff. But what's going to happen? I don't know.
We'll just sit back with our popcorn and watch and see.
We will. I know. Popcorn. Well, what do you think? What do you think next there, Paul? You know what? Let's talk about what to be thankful for.
Yeah, agreed. It is the holiday season. Again, the season of giving. And there's so much this year that I just, really want us to stop and just be thankful for what we have. We always focus on our goals and what's next and all of that, but let's just stop for a moment and think about what has happened this year. If you're an SBA lender, you probably had a decent year, right? You probably had a decent year in production. Which means you had a decent year in income. And there was lots of ups and downs. Think about the interest rates we went through over the last short term here. And think about the people who help support our teams, our closers, our underwriters, and even our approvers. I know we don't think about them very often, trust me, especially if they say no. I couldn't tell you their name, but no, for the most part, we really need to adapt, because most of our institutions have a good, well-oiled machine, and we have a good system, and I'm sure you do, Tanya. And we just really need to think about how SBA has given so much to our individual families, because all of that comes down the line, right?
And our communities, man. I mean, it kind of extends out that it's not just all of us out there in SBA world knows, right? It's not just about us. We don't do this because it's just about us. We wouldn't be in this industry if it was just about us. So it helps the communities. It helps our business owners out there. It helps bring small businesses, I guess, through the tough times. I mean, I really love that we can help that.
And the brokers that refer to us. And I mean, there's so many things. And, Samuel just made a comment, are they saying bye to the SBA? No, that is not a chance. And that I think that's going to happen. You can feel free to quote me on that. But again, there's so many things of what we do touches so many people. And if you really think about the spider web that SBA does, it's really quite amazing. And, lastly, too, I love doing this podcast with you, Tanya. I enjoy sharing the news with everybody. I enjoy Ray and Madison and everyone who just kind of,
Yes.
puts their teeth into this, because I don't get paid for this unless you got
Mhm.
some contract that I didn't know about.
Nope.
We we truly do this to give
Yeah.
back, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun, just to be able to share that news and hang out with you, Tanya, and just again, thanks for everything.
I agree with you, Paul. It's one of the highlights of my week. I must admit, I enjoy our banter. I enjoy putting things out there that I guess help others. I do want to talk
Yeah.
about something, and you're gonna be like, "What the heck? Where's she going with this now?" In this time of the seasons, guys, it's the
That's true.
holiday seasons, but at the same time as we're all being thankful, we're all being grateful. There are the many out there that this is a bittersweet season. Now, I'm gonna expand on that a bit. I've had a challenging year, and many on the personal and business side, because I tend to have zero filter. Yes, I know.
Weird.
I know. Weird. Nobody realizes that about me. Anyway, but I've had some challenging things that have gone on in my life. So, people have reached out and they're like, "Boy, you just look so happy." Well, yeah, here and I am the vast majority of the time, but there's still things behind the scenes. I mean, others out there that we're dealing with too during this time, they could be having a bittersweet time. I've done so much work this year, right? Getting me through some of my challenges. And okay, I'm gonna put those out there because y'all are gonna just laugh at me. I mean, I've done Dr. Dispenza energy work, I've done shamanic healing, I've done light energy, I've traveled. Okay, I might get in trouble for saying this, who knows? But my most recent was an ayahuasca journey because, quite honestly, for myself, I'm going through all kinds of different things that I'm stepping outside of boxes in order to further my journey. Everybody's on their own journey, right? So anyway, what I want to say to that is I've had some business people that have reached out that they've got some serious challenges in their own world or in and and with people that they're close to. Y'all be kind. Be kind. The next
Yeah.
few weeks during the rest of this season, the rest of the year, just be kind, show compassion, show grace. Don't know what's going on behind the scenes with anybody that you're working with. So if they kind of come at you in a maybe a negative light, maybe recognize that they've got something else going on that it has nothing to do with you. So anyway, I'm just going to throw that out
That's
there.
true.
And
Well,
I
and
don't know,
real
Paul.
quick, I want to say I need to Google half of the words you just said in your previous, because I have 0.0% of what the
Okay.
hell that was.
Before this year, so did I. So that's what I mean by you just never know what kind of place people are going to with it reinventing themselves and or stepping outside the challenges. I
But
mean,
like Zoe said, it's good for you investing yourself, and that's awesome. But I have no idea what you invested in.
well, put it this way. I would tell everybody to just step outside their comfort zone and find whatever it is that works for them. You don't know what it is until you actually try it. So I've stepped outside every zone I've known. I'm moving forward. Anyway. All right, guys. So this is our last one. Paul, I'm not going to see you again until
I
next
know.
year.
Next
How's that?
year. Yep. We'll be back
Yeah.
on January 6th.
January
And it'll be
I
interesting.
know.
More
Well,
ways than one.
always something. But guys, we've really had a blast with you this year. And if you need anything from us, we'd love for you to reach out. Go join us on any of our channels. So we've got YouTube, LinkedIn, any of the streaming platforms where you get your podcast. We've got our other family of podcasts, which is the Art of SBA Lending and the BDO Show. We got information across the board. So there's something for everyone out there, right? If you've got any loan questions or anything that you need help on and you're in Washington, Idaho, and or Oregon, go ahead and reach out to Paul there at Visa Credit Union. And if you're Colorado, well, I almost have to look at my own daggum states because there's so many these days. Colorado, Texas, Missouri, Florida, Arizona, the Carolinas, and Tennessee. Reach out to myself, Tanya Mazurek at Midwest Regional Bank. We would love to help you. And hey, guys, we'll see you all next year.
See you next year.
See ya.